Welcome back to Season 2, Episode 7 of Fill Your Cuppa Support Together. Take 2 of the Fill Your Cuppa Support Together podcast. I am your host, Mrs. O, and on my right I have Mrs. Una Mary Leonard.
Hiya.
And on my left I've got wee Gem Casty.
Hello.
Gemma's back in the house.
Gemma's back in the house.
And causing chaos.
Oh, she definitely is, girls. She definitely is.
I love it.
You're very welcome here today, girls.
Thank you.
It's been a while from we've been in the studio. It's a while from we've had Gemma because we had Louise from Little Forget-Me-Nots in here.
That was amazing.
The last time, yeah, it was brilliant.
Absolutely.
Now Gemma has been working in the office doing one-to-ones with mummies, which is very, very important. She hasn't been having wee nanny naps in the cocoon room.
No
We
evidence of that.
don't have video evidence of her
I
taking
was
her
on a
nanny
break.
naps.
As Ross said to friends, I was on a break.
We were on a break.
So you are, to be fair, but you could definitely switch off.
Oh, aye.
Which is fantastic. And that just shows you that we cocoon room.
Oh, aye.
Is definitely
Works its magic.
The roof of Oma Community House was nearly lifted that day when you snoring.
Snore, Ciara.
when the
I'm only breathing.
glasses is
It's my
off.
husband's it is.
Oh,
Gemma
aye.
means business.
Yeah,
Is
the
that what
glasses
you
are off.
say?
Uh-huh.
Your wee Podrick knows when mummy takes a wee nanny
If
nap.
I take the glasses off, then I mean business.
Well, now, and
Serious then.
in fairness, we're gonna have to rectify this now. Gemma was on a long shift. She was in the morning, meeting mummies, and then she had a wee break in the afternoon, had a wee nanny nap, and then she was back in then doing a program in the evening time. So we didn't work her to the bone and kept her in from 9 in the morning till 10 that night. She had her wee break. It's a split shift.
She wouldn't leave the building.
Yeah, she wouldn't leave.
She was that content.
She's to be
Everything is
Yeah.
within
Yeah.
the hub. So
It's like home from home.
Home from home.
Yeah.
Hard to get these dolls home.
Tell you.
So episode 7, we're going to talk about the mask. The mask is a very important part of our toolkit, and it's something that we speak to the mummies about. It's a visual aid.
Yeah.
I suppose it came around back whenever you would have been doing the Understand It's Normal. Is that right, Una?
Yeah, even a way back before that, just I suppose massive understanding with myself, realising that especially when I went into the motherhood, I had a mask on. But behind that mask was struggle, which was absolutely terrified,
Fear.
was guilt, fear, yep, definitely, and just losing complete sense of self.
Mm-hmm.
So we brought the mask in, I suppose, to get the people to think of the front that we often put out there into the world. And I'm not saying it's a bad thing to have a mask. Sometimes we need that to try to understand what the name of God's going on.
Yeah.
But I realised I couldn't keep going through my whole life with this mask.
The mask draining you.
Thicker and thicker and thicker, because what happened? Exactly, it drains you, but there's a heavy weight on you.
Mm-hmm.
What was wrong with me? Feeling fearful? Nothing. But I needed. It's not a shameful thing.
Yeah.
And what was wrong with me? Being anxious.
Yeah.
It's not a shameful thing. But if I kept wearing that mask, I was going to make that be shameful, and it was going to feed more into the illness. So
Yeah.
the mask is kind of used in a lot of terminology within the charity, but mums tend to get it when you say, do you feel you're wearing a mask? Are you pretending? Are you living in pretense a lot? Are you on show a lot? You know, so you get into that car and you have the baby all looking well.
The makeup on.
Makeup on.
Well, sometimes it's for survival mode as well.
Oh yeah.
Exactly.
You paint the face
Yes.
and you put on the
Getting through the
smile.
day.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it definitely is. But if you're doing that continuously and you're feeling you're slipping, it's not keeping you well.
It's hard work.
Oh,
keeping
it's
that
hard
mask
to
on
keep it
a
going.
long time.
You know, so it's about even just looking at that, and that's what I've had to do over time, you know, not being able to breastfeed, you know, when you're putting it on, but sure, it's all right. Sure, it's grand. Not able to breastfeed, it's okay, you know, at least a fed baby, you know, it's better than nothing. But at the beginning, I was faking it, like it was freaking hard on me.
Yeah, but sore inside.
Really sore. So that mask was me putting on that. I used to stiff up her lip, you know, I'm grand, everything's okay. I'm grand, that bloody word grand. So there's where the mask, and often when we used to do workshops, and you see that done a lot and the mask is used a lot on mental
Yeah, and mental health,
illness,
yeah.
you know, because we do hide behind this mask. But is that mask serving me well? At times, yes.
Why do we?
Not always.
Yeah. Why do we feel we need to put a mask on?
Because of shame. Because think about it, you know, Support Together's going, I'm kind of not sure.
14
14 to
years.
15 years,
15
yeah.
years. But it started with myself being ill with Caitlin. And I look back, that's it. Our Caitlin's turned 18.
Mm-hmm.
And we went looking out to see what is out there, what support's out there. Where is the message to tell me that it's okay? Your feelings is something that's actually going to be a part of the transition.
That's normal.
It's your emotional chaos that entering parenthood can create. There wasn't. I'm being honest. There was no message out there. So shame.
So the mask has been around for a hell of a long time.
The mask is used.
Like my mother would have wore a mask. Her mother would have worn a
Generations.
mask.
Of
Oh,
course, and like,
years.
even men wear masks. You know, when you go into work and people say, "God, sure, they looked all right. God, sure, they were grand. They were laughing. They were cooing." Because often you're going in with this mask.
You feel like you have to put a front
protection.
on. Yeah, it's total protect. That's exactly what it is. It's protection. But as you're saying, it's protection, but it still hurts.
It
And the more
hurts.
you wear it, the hurt gets bigger.
It's harder to peel off.
Yeah.
Because then you actually forget who the hell was I. You know, at the start of me putting this mask on and the pretense, who was that person?
Mm-hmm.
Because your identity's lost. So exactly what you said, Gemma, there's sometimes we need a mask. I totally get that. And we talk about often a lot of the hats we wear, different roles we turn up. You know, I turn up to be Una, you know, at work. Often it could be your boss, or often it could be working with a mummy. And then a new version of me, and I have another hat on me when I go home.
Your mummy.
I'm a mummy. I'm
My
a
wife.
wife. I'm a daughter. I'm a sister. I'm a cousin. I'm a friend. You turn up to them roles often differently equipped. And sometimes you turn up to some of them roles protecting yourself.
Yeah.
Don't you?
Yeah.
And so a mask is definitely can be a cocoon. You can cocoon yourself with a mask, but when it starts to be something that you start looking at yourself and going, who am I?
Uh-huh.
You know,
You're so
because
lost behind the mask.
we talk
You
so
forget.
much about communication because communication links to connection.
Mm-hmm.
If I can't communicate my thoughts to the right people in the right environment, I'm going to walk about, not end up knowing who I am and totally deteriorating. So it's come from, you're right, we use it and understand it's normal. That's where the toolkit started to be built up.
Yeah.
But it's actually come from lived experience.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that we're sitting, I'm wearing a mask, and often I say to them, you're going to put that mask on you today, and that's all right.
Yeah.
Remember to take that off when you go home.
Yeah. You're allowed it
just
on
thinking
for a couple
about-
hours.
Just thinking about boundaries. Sometimes you might need to wear it, and that's to do with protection as well.
Big time.
You know,
I know
we
you-
talk a lot about boundaries.
Yes, you would.
Yeah.
I was going to come over now and say that like your experience of a mask will be different than my experience of a mask and Una's. And you do work a lot with our mummies 1-to-1, and we have to put boundaries in place, and we have to teach our mummies to put boundaries in place.
Yeah.
So what?
Guide them.
Yeah,
support
guide them,
in
uh-huh.
order to do that. Yeah.
So tell me what you think about masks. Like scary ones, Halloween masks.
No.
Cla-
Let's look at that nice boudoir one. up
I
there
know. Oh,
on the
aye.
table. I suppose my experience of mask, I wouldn't really have probably worn a mask a lot. I'd have been very open, and that's probably my personality, maybe. I'm a very open person. I'm not, I suppose, afraid of my emotions, and that's took maybe a bit of time, maybe to open them up. I would have wore it occasionally, but and I suppose that helped me with my journey, seeking in that much quicker.
Quicker and
you know,
getting help.
because I knew something wasn't right and I wasn't going to hide it.
Yeah.
So I think that's very important. You know.
So you say that you did link in for support.
Yeah,
Project was very young.
very very young. He's
You
only 3
felt
weeks.
that you didn't have to wear a mask, that you were strong enough and confident enough to reach out. I suppose where I wore a mask for a hell of a long time because I didn't. I was the stigma and I was afraid of what everybody else would be thinking.
Yeah.
I don't give two continental hoots
Yeah.
what anybody else thinks of me. I am who I am,
Yeah.
and that's one of my strengths. But I'm not ashamed of me.
And that's a powerful and wonderful thing to be able to
But that's not everybody.
get
Yeah.
there. Yeah.
That's what I was going
I
to say.
understand
Yeah.
that.
So the mummies that you're working with, that you see with the masks, how do you support them?
So I would say boundaries is number one. Building up their self-worth, their self-esteem, making them feel like they're worthy
Mhm.
of being themselves, knowing their emotions, knowing their feelings, the whole package, and believing in themselves. And it's okay to let that mask down and let somebody in to help support you.
Yeah.
And that's why a lot of people would say we're creating that safe space for them. And definitely often they come into us and they've no words. If
Yeah.
I had words, if I had had the words way back, how could I have had the words when there was no education out there, when there was nobody talking openly about the anxiety that happens, the transition into motherhood, how it's going to affect my relationship with my husband, myself, the baby, the whole bloody world, me work, everything. So I hadn't got the language to use. So
I suppose that's another point, Diane. Whenever you let that mask down, that's when the healing
Yeah.
really
Begins.
begins. Because without that there, you can't work on your inner self.
No.
And that's what we try to do with the mummies, is work from the bottom and kind of building step by step. And that's a gradual process. That just doesn't happen overnight.
Yeah.
Like I had my mask down very early, but I still didn't know myself then. I still had to work on my emotions and get that understanding, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
And it took time.
yeah,
I'm still working on it.
Yeah.
it is, and I totally like. It's a good, like what you're saying there is really really invaluable, and that you didn't even put a mask on. You sat there and you wanted help. You just thought, no, I need help. As I went in to motherhood with high expectations on self, so that mask came clinging to me. And whether I tried to get it off or not, it took a hell of a long time because I couldn't let people know I was struggling.
Mm-hmm.
She wasn't qualified to
Aye.
look after kids.
She couldn't you breastfeed you the boobs for it?
Sure, so was town. Nothing to do with them.
No bother doing it.
And no bother. And see that bloody sentence. No bother to you. Just no bother to you. That's
the pressure put on
my poka boka.
put on you by others.
By others, no bother to you. Sure, So then what did I do? Put the mask on and probably layered her up thick.
Yep, fake it till you make it.
Fake it till you make it. Which actually is not a bad thing. If I'm able to say to you without my mask on, I'm faking this, I'm trying my best.
Yeah.
That's me being really honest and open.
And we talk a lot about them, honest conversations.
Yeah. But when you wear the mask, you lose your complete
identity.
So
Of
about
who you are.
you, Ciara, you often talked about the different layers that you.
I'd say looking back now, I always would have had a mask. I suppose I was always trying to fit in and always trying to please. So my mask was always there. And then whenever the expectations of what I put on myself, because I was always the one with the children hanging off me, it would be no bother to Ciara. And I honestly went into thinking it will be no bother to me. I can't wait for this to happen. And then you hit the ground with a bang because actually I can't do this all. And it's okay to babysit the country because you're handing them Wayne's back. But when they're your own and you can't hand them back.
A different story.
And there's no sleep. And the hormones are going through. I had really, after I had Jude, my thyroid went haywire. I wasn't sleeping. I was going like a Duracell bunny. I never stopped. I was going non-stop all the time. And I couldn't switch off. And even though I knew in my head and myself that I was completely drained and I couldn't continue, I couldn't not stop. And I couldn't let myself down because what would others think of me? And I know that I'm sitting here now, 36, and my children are well grown up. I still wear a mask. Now, my mask is not, if I'm having a bad day or if I'm not well, whatever, I try to, you try to control it or whatever, but I still, like, I would use humour as a mask. And some of our mummies know whenever we had our gathering, I take the hand out of my husband and me, and but that's how I try to break the conversation or break the ice with using humour. And that's just something I think I'd probably have it with me my whole life.
But you're not using a mask to
I'm not-
block
I'm not
your
using
well-being
and
and your
not
connection.
I'm not using a mask to survive, whereas I was using a mask to survive whenever I had my two boys.
Do you know, like, even when you were talking there, there's a songs come into my head. By the way, I'm not going to sing, so
Go on ahead there.
I might take off my shoes and I'll hum. My feet will be stinking. Anyway, but I'm not going to sing. You're all right.
That's
The
a good
song
joke.
Is, we could have kept that. See, the jokes are coming.
What was
out
it?
here.
What did you say?
Oh, she missed it.
She missed it.
I'm not even going to go back. I says I could take off my shoes.
And they could hum.
And I'll hum.
Uh-huh.
I'm not going to sing.
No.
Anyway, she didn't.
I did get it there, but what did you say, Gemma?
She says that I could
It'd be good for you.
Oh, well, yeah, go on ahead. So what were you saying? What was the song?
We were in the
What
middle of
was the
see the way. Sorry. Keep up
You
here.
carried
Keep
away.
up, keep up here. Keep up. Anyway, a song came into my head when you were talking there. It's a song that really, really stood with me in that Kitty B song, Crying for No Reason. And she talks in that song about forgive, me for the way I've been. And I often look at that as myself. I have to forgive myself. I let me down.
Mm-hmm.
And when I heard that song, oh my word. And I actually go back to that quite often, and we do bring it into training a lot. But the reason it is, why I'm bringing that up is that I often think of what I put me through. Why did I, not allowing me to feel, not allowing me to reach out for support because I felt I just needed to get on with it.
You felt you didn't deserve it.
That's probably something too, because you're a caring human being and you're looking after others. But I have to forgive me. I went through a forgiveness with me, and I've looked at me going, you know what, Una? And I feel myself, you can feel the emotion here with me, but I've every right to feel my feelings.
Yeah.
Nobody can tell me how I'm feeling. I can tell me,
Yeah.
but it's what I do with them. But if I wear a thick mask and not allow myself to express how I'm feeling, that's going to end up
Festering.
and toxic. It'll be toxic. It'll be very toxic. Toxic, is that the right? I can't even get my word
Yeah,
right now.
I suppose.
Toxic,
Toxic,
yeah.
the environment then that will come out into my environment and what I do and how I behave.
Seeping
That
out.
song, I constantly go back to it. Kitty B, Crying for No Reason. I see it in the company. I put my feelings on the shelf.
Yeah.
I ignored who I was. Enter motherhood. We need to cocoon and hug ourselves and praise ourselves and be gentle to ourselves more than ever, because it's a massive transition.
This is Fill Your Cuppa, the Support Together podcast, and we couldn't bring the podcast to you today without the support of Clarity Scanning and Holistic Health. Clarity Scanning and Holistic Health is a private pregnancy ultrasound and complementary therapy facility. Their mission is to provide a more holistic approach during your pregnancy. Visit clarityoma.com.
No, you're all right. You're all right. I was thinking, I wore the mask, and I wore a mask for so long. I would have wore a mask in school. I would have wore a mask growing up. I had ginger hair, and I fucking hated it. I always wanted to be something different. Always wanted not to be Ciara. And I think now, and people would often say, she's very forward, or she's very abrupt, or you're very cross-looking. I can't wear, there's times I can't wear a mask. What you see is what you get, because I've wore for too long. And you're talking about songs. That song, I Am the One and Only. Nobody I'd rather be.
Oh, I fucking Chesney boy.
Yeah, I am the one and only. You can't take that away from me.
You're the one and only, Mrs.
Yes.
O.
The one and only.
Now, I remember hearing that song, and now Muckross, being in Muckross, sunny day, probably having a few drinks, and that song playing and me singing it at the top of my voice.
That's an anthem.
That's the and
That is a
you can
really
turn it on and you turn it up full because
Because we are the one
Yeah.
and only. There's nobody else like us. That's how unique we are.
Mm-hmm. And you shouldn't have to wear a mask.
No, but you're right. That's another really good song. By God, I could really get. I'm going to go out of here. And listen to
I'll be
that.
bouncing out
That's
of
a
here.
really good one. Really
Yeah.
good.
It's like, who are you whenever you haven't got your mask on?
Yeah.
Where are you when you haven't got your mask on?
Mommy, you're home.
I was going to say sleeping.
Sleeping.
Snoring. Right. Can you explain that a wee bit more?
So it's probably is
Just my thinking here.
It's when you're at home. So I'm sitting thinking, right, so whenever you're playing that song and it's up full.
I'm proud of me.
Yeah. What are you feeling like?
I'm like, you're nearly your fists again. You go, I am the blood and one and only.
It's like me singing that Josie song. You're drumming away and you're... If
You feel
anybody-
worthy.
You feel worthy. You feel powerful. You feel confident.
Imagine
Empowered.
getting that message to your children very early on, because they'll not fucking put a mask on. Imagine being able that a child is emotionally intelligent, that they have the language linked to their emotions. I feel because of
Mm-hmm.
I want to be able to do, because this will help me.
Mm-hmm. There's no shame in crying. There's no shame in saying that you feel there's something. Orla would always say to me, Mum, my tummy feels sore. And I'm like, Mum, Orla, it's not pain, it's butterflies.
Yeah.
It's anxiety in your tummy. That's okay, you feel them. And I've heard Jude saying to her, I say butterflies, and she said, there is butterflies. And I said, no, it's not butterflies. There's no actual butterflies in your tummy. It's a feeling inside your tummy, but that's okay. You're allowed that feeling. Sit with that feeling. It's exciting. What are you excited about? What is it? It's the same as sitting on the toilet for too long and having, as Enda says, a fuzzy leg.
A fuzzy leg.
My leg's fuzzing. Aye, my leg's fuzzing. That's a feeling.
Yeah.
Of course. And that's true. Like, and what is that feeling telling you?
Yeah.
Tell us the wee story behind it.
Yeah.
You know.
I love pins and needles.
Do
And I
you?
use like them now.
No.
I love it.
What?
Pins
Why?
and needles. I'm weird.
You're weirdo.
I don't care. Really.
Pins and needles.
Yeah.
Gemma loves the pins and
That's a
needles.
queer name for a band. Pins and needles.
No, it's not. There's a song, Needles and Pens. Smokey, Needles and Pens.
I haven't heard it.
Oh, seriously.
Play it on the way home there.
Needles and...
Right.
Do you know what?
I don't know. My head's still and I am the one and only.
I know.
You were saying something there now, and I was going to pull.
Sorry,
not,
but
the butterflies
something
are-
really about that your feelings and sitting with them, and it's great that you're helping Orla to name them,
Uh-huh.
and you imagine how that'll help her emotional intelligence as she goes on. But another thing that we find a while out is, why do people apologise when they cry?
Mm-hmm.
The amount of mummies have come into us, and because you're just providing that space, they feel held and heard. Often tears will come. And the
Let
next
the
bit,
tears out.
what do they say?
Sorry.
Sorry.
No, never, ever apologize.
And you always give them a tissue. Now, I'm not giving you tissue to stop the crying. It's somewhere for them to land.
Because often when you give a tissue, that's nearly somebody saying wipe them away.
Yeah.
You know, no, let it land, because your mascara's beautiful.
Aye.
Or I don't want it landing on your top or whatever. Let it land safely.
And often that them tears are coming out because you've let that guard down and you've held it for so long.
And you've connected to the feeling.
Mm-hmm.
And I cry at home often. I might have a wee cry, of course, and then the kids would go, Mum, and you okay, Mum? Is everything all right? And I go, I was watching that movie. Like sometimes I remember watching the movie and I remember my man nearly having to go and give me a towel when I was younger. the champ.
Oh, jeepers. Oh,
that was sore.
that is my
Tissues
favourite.
was no good for me. I needed a towel.
Have you ever seen it, Gemma?
No.
Oh, about the boxer. Oh.
But you see, if I had a hold on that would have hurt me so much.
Mm-hmm.
And often it is when a mummy connects to her feelings or feel that she's been heard, and a dad, when I've been with, chatted to men and daddies before and they've cried and they goes, I'm sorry. And I've heard it on TV, maybe celebrities in a really good interview and starting to cry and they apologise. But nobody ever says to them, don't you ever apologise for crying?
What are you apologising for?
Why do we do that?
Why do we feel that we have to apologise because you see tears? What there's no weakness in showing tears.
No. Just, you know, we always go.
You always feel better after we go.
Oh, I
Oh,
always
cry.
say that.
Tears is
Come
the
here.
best
We've
part.
all- cathartic.
There's times we've laughed that hard that we have cried in that office.
And dad across her legs.
Uh-huh. Yes, we've laughed that
Driving
hard
down
that
on
we've,
the
yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Not even, yeah.
But tears most days, like.
There does.
There does,
But it's good tears.
Like, really, and that's saying it used to be said years ago, and probably still is. Big boys don't cry. Straight away, that child is learning to put on a what at a young age?
Face.
A mask, a face.
If I hear that, I cringe. I'd be like, oh no, don't cry. Why? What is he doing wrong? What's wrong with crying?
We're putting shame to it.
Mm-hmm.
But we-
And it's
Thank-
probably generational.
oh,
Oh, yeah.
Centuries
definitely
and
is.
centuries.
And often we might feel a wee bit because we're vulnerable, and then vulnerability can sometimes people, you know, mightn't like that state that state of place they're in, and they're vulnerable, and then they're apologising for being vulnerable. But if you're in a safe space, I've started taking note of it years ago, the amount of people
Mm-hmm.
apologise. Don't you apologise for your feelings? Yes, people can be angry, and it's often what you do with that anger sometimes isn't very good.
Mm-hmm.
Or frustration, what you do with that frustration. But to apologise for your, what are you doing?
Our wee producer there went to show us how long we've been going, and he showed us the wrong side of the page.
We had a draw on.
Uh-huh. Sorry, he doesn't need to apologise for that. It's okay.
Don't you apologise?
Oh, does
for
it
that.
right?
Yeah.
How have you been keeping your cup as filled, Lilies?
That's a good question, Ciara.
Is your cup filled, or is it half filled? Is it getting
It's-
low?
I think because I've been working on it, and there's a few things that has come into my life at the minute that can kind of go, put you on a wobble.
Dip her out a wee bit.
Go blah blah blah.
Uh-huh.
But because I've been working on filling my cup on, I haven't went in complete meltdown. I haven't went into catastrophizing mode, you know. And
But that's because you're working on
I'm
it.
maintaining it.
Yeah, you're maintaining, and that's a skill, and that's a strength that you've built up. That you know
That's taken
what.
me
A long
It's
time.
a bit like somebody saying, you know, I'm a member to the gym, and I haven't lost any weight, or I haven't toned any.
That's me
I
there.
haven't toned any of my body up.
Are you
Sure,
using
I'm
it?
not going to do that if I haven't went to the fucking
Uh-huh.
gym. So it's a bit like it's a muscle, isn't it? It's a new muscle that we're working on, and filling your cup up, looking at how worthy I am. It's something that doesn't naturally come to us because often as the past maybe or people have put you down or use that word selfish. Or,
Yes.
you know. So what I'm trying to say is some weeks or days I'm better at it. So the times I am better at it is helping me to fill. We use a jug at work and we show the jug and where mummies would measure themselves. And so because I'm working on that, when I've had a big situation, I'm running. I've got my reserve and all
Yeah.
there. I've got a good bit in that jug,
And you know,
and thank goodness,
Yeah.
I have.
but you know that it's time to go and refill that jug. You're not waiting till that jug's bone empty,
No,
and you've hit the wall.
that's been abusive to self. Do you know that's really is how I have a duty of care to me.
Yeah.
But as I say, girls, I know that's a muscle that has to keep being worked on. And often we say to mummy when she comes into us and she shares a part of self, and maybe her emotional journey and what's going on, and we'd say when you go home, it's going to be like you've done a
Your workout,
a
yeah.
physical workout. And like we were with a mummy last week, and she said, you know what, I never even seen it like that. And I says, oh God, yeah,
Yeah.
you might as well have crimed Kilpatrick.
I remember going with you. I don't know if you remember. You probably will. Going with you for a talk to the health visitors in the SWA,
Right.
and I was accompanying you. I was your co-host that day, and we hadn't planned to do any talking. But of course, whenever you're there, you start talking. And I had shared a bit of my story and shared a bit of my journey with postnatal depression. And I remember Una saying to me afterwards, you know, you've done, like, your mind's done a workout. Be mindful of yourself. I'm thinking, what under God is she on about? Sure, I haven't been to the gym. Sure, I'm grand.
She's chatting that for stuff.
Aye, foot warm and fuzzy. And I remember going home and something happened. Something really small happened. Well, didn't I flip? I remember being totally drained and thinking to myself, what is wrong with me? And Una always would check in the evening time and say, just checking in, how are you this evening? It was a big day and you did so well. I said, well, actually, Una, I feel like I've been hit by a bus. And she's like, that's because yes. I drained my cup that day because I give so much. I give so much to the place we were, for the charity and everything that we're doing. My cup was drained, and I remember thinking to myself, actually, that makes sense. I need to, and now I know when I suppose the same as yesterday, we went out for a meeting yesterday morning when you would come back in the office, to be kind to self.
Yeah.
Because it takes a lot out of you.
It does.
You're because you've worked so hard on that muscle, you're dealing, like, I know it's not a muscle of the brain, the muscle of your heart linked to your soul, all of that, whatever warm fuzzy way you want to look at it, but it is something that you work on. And I find exactly like that, you'll find the tiredness much quicker, and you actually don't have to give all.
No.
Right? You don't have to give all, because I suppose when we're trying to get our message across, we're so passionate. But you just come back and you straight away you're tired, I'm exhausted, so I'm going to be with here.
Yeah.
I'm just going to cocoon myself for a wee moment, and then pause, refocus, and we'll move on to the next stage. Yeah. There's a time none of us would have done that.
No, play on.
Round to the next, round to the next, and the next bit, what happens? We just hit the bloody wall.
Yeah.
Just crumble.
And we crumble.
Yeah.
So because you've worked so hard on that has become, that's an amazing skill and a gift that you can give to self.
Gemma, how's your cup been filled?
How has my cup been filled? I would say it's been probably depleted quite a bit with being busy and juggling a lot of balls at the minute, decorating and work. What are you laughing at? Decorating?
No.
Go on ahead.
No, I can't say it. This is a PG show. I can't say it.
Well, anyway, I'm juggling a lot of balls.
I don't know why.
Apologies. It's all whatever's been on the news.
Wasn't that the definition of Friday night?
I was wondering what kind of balls you were juggling there. Right, can we not? Okay. Can we move on from that wee bit? So you've been busy.
So my jug's quite depleted, but I do apologise. No, but I've made sure to still keep my self-care in place. Yeah. Because that could very easily have slipped, and I could have just let that slide on. But no, I've still made. I was at a quiz Friday night. I was away at a brunch on Sunday and taking time for me.
Because work is busy. Because you're going through in our Holden Bay. We've got new mummies.
I've been doing a lot of one-to-ones and stuff, and that's tiring.
Because you're giving. Yeah. You're providing a gift of space in your time. To be with another mummy, for her to talk about her feelings. Yeah. So you're very present. Yeah. That's why we don't do 10 one-to-ones in a day. Normally 3 if you're in a long day is enough to spread out through the day. Yeah. That next mummy needs the best of you.
Yeah, and I'm not going to be able to give that, but I made sure it was important that I still give my self-care. Brilliant. So, yeah. Brilliant. That was me.
We're all
and I wasn't juggling that kind of balls.
Say no more. So what about her? What have you done to fill the jugs?
Well, I was out on Saturday night.
Fill the jugs. Fill your cup up.
But I wasn't at the Devonish. Trying to think.
Enough press.
I know. I'm trying to think, what have I done to fill my cup up? My cup was.
Oh, where were you? Where were you Saturday night?
I wasn't.
Your favourite band?
My favourite band.
Your favourite band?
My favourite wee rock band, and they started off with my song.
Who was at the top of the dance floor?
Ciara. I was live on video, singing away. Music fills my soul.
I'm with you there.
And I listen, and it's on the car every morning, girls. And if anybody meets me in the road, I apologise if you see me rocking away to that song and singing it at the top of my voice. And I'm visualising me wee man out of the band called Paul. It's just music and it's the songs and it's the banging and the drums and the.
And that's something at your fingertips.
Yeah.
You can download that song, upload it, whatever tickles your fancy. My new strap line.
Yeah.
But there's Ciara, and that's kind of nearly the theme here today. Is the music,
Yes.
songs, lyrics.
It's like, and it's sticking it on, and it is full blast. I probably have said it before. I remember going to the counselling sessions and having a heavy counselling session with Lisa, and then her saying, right, your homework tonight is into the car, turn the volume up full blast, and you sing your heart out till you get home.
You be that rock star.
And I am. Girl, see, whenever I'm coming up the road in the morning in the car, I'm going home. I am a rock star. I am the front person in that band. I'm playing the drums, I'm singing, and I'm also doing the guitar. I'm doing the whole lot.
Yeah, it is.
Telling you, and not just Ciara. I'm not Mrs. O. I'm an actress, and I'm now a magician. No, musician.
Probably aren't we just?
Yeah.
You kind of juggle a lot of stuff.
I juggle a lot of balls. So do.
No, even chatting about music, there I was at the concert last night.
Oh yes,
too.
I know it was
Like,
concert.
I mean, dreading going, just didn't.
Did you
loved
make it up
it?
the front?
We got up near the front, and Niall was absolutely amazing. And just as you say, like, just that connection to his music, and I want to go and hear more of his music, and nothing beats going out for. Doesn't have to be up to the Belfast. It can be going into the town and listen to hear a local band or turn up the radio. But
Yeah.
nighty.
You smell the cheese?
Yeah.
Right.
Do you smell the cheese? I smell the cheese. Are you scraping at the mic? Oh, he hasn't got his earphones on.
Ooh. Right, we're gonna have to put a request out here for jokes because I think we're getting to the end of them.
Yeah.
In the new
Um,
book, Ciara.
If you want to forget about all your troubles, buy a pair of tight shoes
Why?
because then you'll be worried about your feet.
Right.
I bought a pair of jeans marked 50% off. There was only one leg. I know, it's getting bad here.
That's my kind of joke.
My grandfather keeps a record of everything he eats. It's called a tie. Oh, he must dry. He must drip it down his tie. Yeah.
Everything falls down on my top. You know what I'm at for the day.
I went to a seafood party last week, but ended up pulling a muscle.
I'm on a seafood diet, Ciara.
you?
Seafood and I eat it.
Sure, we're all the same. Autocorrect has become my worst enemy.
Oh, I'm not getting up.
No. The person who invented autocorrect passed away today. Restaurant in peace.
I'll let you know.
Oh, this is a good one. I got fired from my job at the funeral parlour. My boss thought smoking and non-smoking was an inappropriate way to ask if they wanted cremated. We're gone.
You're gone.
That's us between juggling balls and smoking and non-smoking.
Mind yourself.
Mind yourself, everybody. And we'll see you next week. Bye.
This was Fill Your Cuppa, the Support Together podcast, with me, Mrs. O, Ciara O'Gowan, and my co-hosts, Una Leonard and Gemma Cassidy. Brought to you today by Clarity Scanning and Holistic Health, and produced by 9874 Creative.